I'm Captain Austin Adduci with Goby Fly Charters. I guide Lake Michigan and the Kankakee River. The materials used for Austin's producer are: the hook is a TMC 5263 in a size 2. The thread is a 140 denier in color of your choice. The tail material is a Spirit River natural rabbit strip. The body material is a hairline dubbing UV polar chenille in copper. And the head material is Montana Flies sculpin wool. And then just big dumbbell eyes. Let's get started tying Austin's producer. This pattern's imitating a Goby. Start by tying in the thread, advancing it back to the hook point. Before we inserted the hook into the vise, we poked a length of rabbit strip onto the hook shank. We're going to tie this whole pattern with the hook point up. It's a little dangerous, but it's worth it. We're going to capture that rabbit strip. We're going to bring our thread back to that hook point. And that whole step just created the tail. Next, we're going to tie in some UV polar chenille. We're going to stop that where we stopped tying in the rabbit. We're going to advance our thread back up. At this point, we're going to flip that hook over, tie in our eyes. We're going to leave a lot of distance from the eyes to the eye of the hook for tying in the head later. Rotate that hook back over. Now we're going to just palmer that UV chenille with overlapping wraps. The more of this you overlap, the better the body's going to be. You really want a lot of this on here. So with one of these patterns, you're going to burn through almost 9 or 10 inches of UV material to create the body, just to give you some kind of reference of how much you're going to need per fly. going to crowd behind the dumbbell eyes quite a bit. Really build that up just to eliminate any void between the head material and the body. Tie that UV material off. This part's kind of important. So we've polymered that UV material and it was all angled back. Now we're going to want to brush that back perpendicular to the hook all the way around. We're going to cut most of this off, and the best way to determine the length that you're going to cut it off is place your scissors right on top of the hook bend at the point. There's the point. I'm going to come here and just mohawk that straight across. And I'm going to go all the way around the hook, cutting that same length. All right, got our body done. The head is the hardest part of this fly. It's only hard because it's a lot of bunches of sculpin wool. It's very specific how we're going to tie these in. I'm going to do 8 bunches of sculpin wool to create a head. I'm going to tie up a bunch right behind the eye on top. Flip it over. In that same tying location, just on the bottom side of the hook. Push all that back. Thread control is important on the bunches around the eyes. You don't want a lot of thread outside of your bobbin. It'll make this almost impossible. So each side of the dumbbell eye is going to get a bunch tied to it. And all I'm doing is diagonally wrapping the thread around the material and around the eye hook shank. We're going to do that same step 3 more times. By doing it diagonal around each side of the eye, you're preventing any thread entrapping any of the other material that's already around the head. Now our last 2 are going to be in front of the dumbbell eyes, pretty close to them. So we've got all our head material on there. Find your thread and pull all that sculpin wool back. Small little thread head. And now the fun part, all that stuff we put on, we get to cut off. The best way to shape the head is to find the eye of the hook, place your scissors right on it, and come in there at a 45-degree angle and cut. And while rotating your vise, keep your scissors at that same angle. All the way around. We got the front done. And come in here, find that skinny little bunch in the back. Again, 45-degree angle. So you can see the shape that we have going on, and that makes it easy to round it over. You just come in and kind of follow that and round it off. By tying in that sculpin wool around the eyes in the way we did, you can see there's no thread showing, there's no seams throughout the hair. It's just all nice and clean. The eyes really stick out from that material. The last step is the tail length. I like a medium-sized tail. I'm going to cut that leather maybe an inch past the bend of the hook. And that's Austin's producer.